this episode, I'll explain the alarms and solutions for the 8-way, 8-gang solenoid valve. First, let's pinpoint the locations of the 8-gang solenoid valve. If it's on the machine, the first one, the safety lock solenoid valve, is located near the swing motor. The last one, the second speed for the small arm, is located near the engine side. Now, as for this 8-gang solenoid valve, I did provide a general introduction to its functions in my previous 8th video, so I won't be going through each of them individually in this particular segment. This video instead will primarily focus on the thought process and effective methods for resolving any alarms related to the 8-gang solenoid valve. If the problem is with the wiring, I'll also show you how to find the correct pin on the computer board and then run a jumper wire directly over to the solenoid valve. F-type alarms are specifically for the on-off switching solenoid valves, which are these first 4 right here. Alarms that start with the letter D indicate an issue with the proportional solenoid valves.
The alarms that are currently displayed on this diagram are directly corresponding to the disconnection issues of these battery proportional valves. So, the initial 4 alarms that you can observe here are categorized as F-class alarms, and then the subsequent 4, which all start with the letter D, are specifically related to the battery proportional valves. Therefore, I will now proceed to provide a comprehensive introduction to these first 4 switch solenoid valves.
Apart from this rotary brake solenoid valve, which is not interchangeable with any other solenoid valves, the remaining 3 are all completely universal. Their electrical resistance is approximately 32 ohms. Now let's take a closer look at these 4 proportional valves. These first 3 components are all universal, and their electrical resistance is consistently 17 ohms. However, this particular small arm second speed component is not compatible with any of the other solenoid valves. Now, let's consider a practical example involving an alarm situation. For instance, imagine the display screen indicates an alarm, specifically alarm code D023. So, if we currently suspect that the problem is with a battery proportional valve, then what we can do is unplug this connector and then plug it into the D033 battery proportional valve. If it doesn't report any error, that would indicate that the wiring itself is not the issue, but rather the battery proportional valve is the problem.
At the same time, we will connect the D033 plug to the problematic proportional solenoid valve. If it then reports the D033 error code, we can be 100% certain that the problem lies with this specific proportional solenoid valve.
So, when it comes to F-class alarms, the approach is essentially the same. If you're suspecting that there might be an issue with the solenoid valve, you can try swapping it out with an adjacent solenoid valve, and that way you'll quickly be able to determine if it's truly a solenoid valve problem. So, for F-class alarms, apart from this safety interlock, if the safety lock is released and all the electrical lines are functioning correctly, it will then be connected to a 24-volt power supply. As for the other 3 points, essentially, even if the wiring is completely normal, it still won't connect to the 24-volt power supply. This is because once you unplug the device, it has a built-in self-diagnostic function, which will then automatically shut down the voltage. So, regarding these alarms, now that we've eliminated the solenoid valve as the cause, we strongly suspect the problem lies with the wiring itself. However, upon inspecting the surface of the wire's connector, we can't find any visible issues or defects. Therefore, our only remaining option is to implement the flywire method. For these 8-gang solenoid valves, their wires are all connected to the computer board's 5th connector, the one that's 5th when you count from the left side.
Regarding the plug, this diagram might be a bit clearer. Let's take a look at these 4 battery proportioning valves behind. If you're using jumper wires, I've marked the corresponding numbers from the proportioning valves onto this 5th plug. If you're still using the original car's wiring, these colors will all match up.
So, these 2 here are the wire markings for the travel first and second speed and the boost solenoid valve. There are 2 more, specifically for the safety lock solenoid valve and the swing brake solenoid valve. Their internal control circuits are quite complex, so I'll cover them in a dedicated video later on.